Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So interesting topic, why we need to build sustainable cities for sustainable business. And I'm talking to an audience of business leaders. The first thing I want to establish is that why is this important before I talk about how perhaps we can think about doing so. So a couple of years back, there was a survey of sustainability survey of the 50 biggest cities in the world, and the top cities were the usual suspects. So our top four were Frankfurt, London, surprisingly, Copenhagen, and Amsterdam. What was not so surprising was that the really kind of high growth cities in emerging markets like Jakarta, Manila, Mumbai, and our own Delhi were kind of bottom of the heap. So the 50 cities that were surveyed, our pride, Delhi was like 49th. And then, as prep for this session, I Googled, building sustainable cities. The first article that comes up is a Harvard Business Review article by John Macomber, and if you're interested in this topic, you must read it. And he has a case study. He has a case study on how not to build a sustainable city. Take one guess. Take one guess. What was that case study? Guess, yeah.
Delhi.
Gurgaon. Our pride Gurgaon beat Delhi to it. So it just kind of tells you something. But look, I don't think we need global surveys to really tell us that. We live it every day. The roads, the traffic congestion, the pollution, the concerns around law and order, the prohibitive cost of housing. We live all of that on a daily basis, and you look at that, and you feel that, look, this is simply not sustainable. And I think that's the point I really want to get across, that sustainability is typically one of those noble purpose discussions. That you have it over pegs, on a weekend with friends, that we need to do something. But it's really something which gets down to your Monday morning to-do list. So there is this kind of big kind of gap between, what is, it is an important but not urgent topic. And what I want to place in front of you is that, look friends, this is becoming really, really urgent. This is becoming critical. My own estimates are that Gurgaon as a really as a city, I think it's probably got a life for another 10-15 years, not very much more than that, given how things are going. And there are actions that are needed on multiple steps. And if, for the sake of our businesses that we're building in cities like Gurgaon, for the sake of our families, for our own sake, there's a call to action that we need to take action. Because the government, while there's a lot that government needs to do, that they simply do not have the intellectual capital, the intellectual thought process, and also the resources to do everything that needs to happen. They simply do not have that. So if we are looking for the government to just take care of it, it will not happen. It will not happen. If we want the lives that we are building, the businesses we are building to be sustainable, we will need to take action. So that is really something I wanted to impress upon you. Now I've started on a bit of a Cassandra note, talking about doom and despair, but I think there is hope and there are solutions, and I really want to focus on solutions. Over the last 4.5 years, I've had the opportunity of being a part of NASSCOM Haryana, and 2.5 years co-chairing it, and last 2 years chairing the regional council. And I think it's been a real experience for me. It's been a real journey for me, where I've come across lots of CEOs, lots of senior industry leaders who are very aware of this issue and who are doing lots about it. So it has been a pleasant surprise for me. We've also tried to engage the government at many different levels, from the Gurgaon administration to the Chief Minister. We have engaged with a lot of experts, a lot of citizen groups. And it's been a tough journey, but I think also, but also raises hope. So based on the work that I've been involved in, there are kind of 6 building blocks, that I see for a sustainable city. and I want to share those with you and some perspectives around them. It is very Gurgaon centric because that's the city I live in, and that's my Karm Bhumi. But I believe that as far as high growth cities are concerned, some of the lessons from Gurgaon are probably relevant elsewhere as well. So what are these 6 building blocks? So they are, to my mind, first is economic engine, second is physical infrastructure, third is environment, fourth is your social ecosystem, fifth is governance, and sixth is citizen participation. So let's investigate them. So the first is economic engine. Often a debate on kind of sustainability, there tend to be two camps. There tends to be, the capitalists, and here are the kind of Jholawalas who are talking about all these kind of nice topics. I think that's totally wrong. There is no dichotomy, there is no differentiation between sustainability and wealth creation. They don't have to be two separate things. In fact, for sustainability, wealth creation has to go along with it. Because and that is where the economic engine comes in. The economic engine is the source of jobs. It is a source of prosperity, and for any city, you need that. You need the economic engine at the heart of it. Now, the thing with economic engines is that economic engines need to be sustainable themselves. Otherwise, cities die, and we have many examples of that. I think the most kind of stark example in kind of recent history is Detroit, a city that I happen to go to quite often over the last 15 years. So in 1960, Detroit had the highest per capita income of all cities in the US, and largely driven by the manufacturing boom from the automobile industry. But Detroit was never really able to reinvent itself from the loss of the manufacturing jobs. Today, it is the poorest city in the US. It is the poorest city. And when I visit Detroit, it's a bit like a ghost town. All the cars that you see, all the houses you see, they all kind of have like a 1960s feel to it. So the economic engines can die, and that's something we have to be very conscious of. How do we create sustainable economic engines? If you look at Gurgaon, the city I love, it has really been the boom in Gurgaon over the last 15 years has been driven by the BPO industry, and then more broadly the IT BPO industry. We have 350,000 jobs in this city from the IT industry. That's a big number. And I think it's quite a strong economic engine because India has a lot of competitive advantages in that space. But at the same time, we have these mega technology trends. We have the rise of social media, cloud computing, mobile, big data. All of them can change our industry in very fundamental ways. Essentially the headcount driven and kind of arbitrage driven proposition that we've had, that can disappear. And that's something that we have to be very, very conscious of. The economic engine, the golden goose that lays the golden eggs, can die. And therefore, the solution for this is innovation. The solution for this is innovation. That how do we kind of reinvent the city? And there's a challenge. Gurgaon quite lags Bangalore as a startup capital, and much work needs to be done. As NASSCOM, we have been collaborating with the government to set up a startup warehouse and to encourage and to kind of write a new ID policy which encourages innovation and which encourages startups. But much needs to be done. So that's the first point I wanted to make, that sustainable cities. First point, sustainable economic engine. The second point, and perhaps the most visible point, is about the physical infrastructure. And I referenced this in the beginning, the roads, the waterlogging, the first kind of hint of rains. We've had all these pictures on WhatsApp and Facebook of kind of a river-like and waterfall-like situation in Gurgaon. The pollution levels, the traffic congestion. All of these are very, very visible things. And then this is where I feel that we need the most kind of significant paradigm shift, in terms of both our kind of thinking, planning, and kind of execution. We have to move, if we want to be sustainable, we have to move to public transportation and multimodal transportation in very, very significant ways. It is not a choice. Right now, our mindset, our planning, everything is driven by cars. Bigger, better cars. And cars are just the most inefficient means of transportation. the amount, the volume, occupied to transport per kind of passenger is simply the highest of any mode of transportation. Yeah, and then the pollution impact. So it is, and we have this obsession with, and that's seen as a sign of kind of prosperity, and we just have to move away from that, and our planning paradigm has to move away from kind of cars and cars to transporting people. If you look at the cities, go back to the cities that were on top of that sustainability survey, London, Copenhagen, Amsterdam, Singapore is in the top 10. All of these cities have got great transportation, public transportation networks, and that is something we have to invest in a very, very sustained manner. We have made a start with metro in Delhi and rapid metro in Gurgaon, but we need to go much further in terms of capacity, and we also need to solve the last mile problem. The other thing which is very important piece of the puzzle is walking and cycling. Yeah? And often, I have these kind of, incredulous kind of type of reaction that, in our environment, in our weather, walking, cycling. I was in Dublin last week. Dublin, it always rains. It rains 95% of the time. And they have built a massive cycling kind of infrastructure and culture over the last 5 years. These countries which are very, very cold can do it. I really wonder that, why, we really shy away from it. So there is a big paradigm shift. There is something the government has to do, but there's also a lot about our own kind of behaviors, our own preferences. That is very important. And I think this is the key. In any kind of big problem, many of you are probably engineers. In any big problem, there is always like a critical bottleneck. And to my mind, this is a critical bottleneck. The third element is our environment. Is a natural environment. The natural environment, both kind of, we interact with it. It kind of supports us. It supports growth development, but it can also damage us. And the way we are interacting with the environment, it has reached those critical levels of damage where it is going to be a big problem. I think a lot has been said about pollution levels in Delhi, but also in Gurgaon. So last year there was a CSC study, and the particulate matter levels were like 966 micrograms per cubic meters, which is like 4 times the acceptable level, or the level where it is kind of supposed to be unhealthy 4 times. Again, I look at the apathy. That, and this is a CSC survey, government kind of the state government did a survey, and they came up with like 100 something, declaring that it's all fine. Of course, they did it in old Gurgaon, next to their kind of the Gurgaon courts, and where all the bureaucrats stay. So of course, and that's a very different part of the city. Pollution is of course a big issue, but there is a problem I worry about even more than pollution. Pollution, I think there has been a lot of dialogue around it, and I think if we really move in terms of the public transportation, the multimodal transportation infrastructure, it is potentially a key solution. The really existential issue is the water table. The water table is depleting by 2 to 3 meters every year. 2 to 3 meters every year, right? So you do the maths. By 2030, the water table is gone. 2030, right? 15 years from now. 15 years, the water table is gone, right? So, how many of you stay in Gurgaon? And how many of you own property in Gurgaon? I think you should really discount the lifetime value of your property, unless things change dramatically. So look, I'm just not, these are numbers, right? These are facts. I'm not trying to kind of, make them up. And there is clearly a lot that needs to be done. Clearly the government needs to do a lot, but again, as businesses, there are things that we can do, water harvesting to mention just one of the things. So the third is the environment. The fourth is the social ecosystem, and this is your health, provision of health, education, entertainment, and these are often the aspects which define the culture of the city, the character of the city. I think there is a lot to comment in Gurgaon on that front. If you look at entertainment, it's a buzzing city, it's a young city. There's a lot of very interesting options. I find Gurgaon more interesting than Delhi on that count. There are 2 factors around the social ecosystem that really worry me. One is law and order. We have this Gurgaon. There are kind of 2 parts to Gurgaon. We have the old Gurgaon, driven by manufacturing, the automobile industry. We have New Gurgaon, driven by services. There is quite a clash between the two. We have the legacy of the industrial unrest and a lot of what it means in terms of law and order. I got 3 children. They're sitting here. I think it's impossible that you would ever allow them to walk out of where we stay in World Spa, which is a couple of kilometers away from here, on their own. They're always going in a car. Not that they can't walk, but just there are concerns around safety. So that is something that has to be addressed. Otherwise, what is happening is that we're building cocoons. We're building islands in the city, which are not connected. A related factor, the second factor is just the social disparity. And I think for urban centers in emerging countries and especially India, that's a very, very big issue. The difference between haves and have-nots is huge, is stark. My office is in Unitech Cyber Park. It's quite a modern office. Right next to it, you have the Jalsa Village. Very, very different. I stay in World Spa, very, very nice, kind of modern complex. Both sides of it, you have slums. And then, it's something that we need to think about. We need to think about that. How do we develop this city in a sustainable fashion? Who is this city really for? And because we are increasing the cost of living in such a dramatic fashion that those differences are only going to increase. So that's the fourth point I want us to think about, which is the social ecosystem. And in particular, there is a bit about law and order where the government has to do something. And I think then there's another thing about social disparity where I don't necessarily have big solutions, but I think something to think about. And I think the one good thing that has happened in terms of the company law is that now there is a provision for companies to spend on CSR. It's a bit of a forced thing, but I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing which potentially encourages companies to take some good steps around improving their local ecosystem. The fifth building block is around governance. And in governance, there are kind of 3 things that I really want to mention. The first is about planning. And again, if you look at Gurgaon, the way Gurgaon has, on paper, there is a master plan. On paper, there is a master plan. But really, the way the city has developed is that there are 3 or 4 builders, DLF, Unitech, Ansals, who have kind of developed their own places. In that process, managed to increase the value of their land significantly. But the basics of planning are not there. The plan has to be an integrated plan. And it is, I think India has enough intellectual capital, consultants, urban planners and all of that we can put that into really developing a forward-looking plan. The second issue is just about kind of local administration. If you live in Gurgaon, you would know that there are multiplicity of government agencies. There is MCG, there is HUDA, there is the police. There are just so many different entities, and the last 4.5 years, as NASSCOM trying to work with the local administration, it has been terribly difficult. Who do you talk to? Who is taking responsibility? There is just so much bypassing, and that is something which is very, very necessary to build a modern city. We talk about smart city, and I roll over my eyes that what is this concept of smart? First you need to have at least the basic facilities in place. By talking about smart and all this technology jazz, you are avoiding the issue. The issue is that basics are not there. And to get that and to make it work, as we do in our companies, that you need to have very clear management structure, and you need to have a very clear governance structure for our cities, which is today missing. And along with that, and that's a hope, the hope is around the need for leadership, the need for vision. If you look at the cities who have really transformed over the last 10-15 years, you've typically seen strong mayors or strong leaders who have had a vision for the city and who have driven it. And that's a much bigger debate in India about leadership, but I think that is a very key element, which is the leadership and kind of vision. The sixth element, and I think the most important element from my perspective, is citizen participation. I think that's where I have some hope. I think the first point there is that, look, all of us can get into this thing about it's the system and the system is rotten, and kind of blaming the system. But what's the system? The system is, end of the day, an aggregation of all of us and our individual behaviors. And there is that notion of taking responsibility for your own actions and your kind of zone of influence. And I think that's a very, very fundamental point, because as I said earlier, government has to do a lot, but if we are expecting government to solve this whole issue, we will be waiting. Yeah, I think on that account, I find new cities like Gurgaon to have a certain energy. I've stayed in Delhi for years, and I've stayed in Gurgaon for the last 5 years, and I do find a more positive sense of taking responsibility, taking root. So we have very proud of the fact that we launched Rahagiri here. How many of you have been to a Rahagiri day? So very few, and you absolutely must join a Rahagiri day. There is something which started happening in Gurgaon a year and a half back, and it was about reclaiming our streets, and it's such a celebration of life. The cities are blocked out for traffic, and you have people doing yoga and dancing and walking and cycling and running. It's now happening in Delhi, Connaught Place, multiple places in Delhi, Nagpur, Ludhiana, Bhopal. So I think there are 6 or 7 cities where it is now happening. So it's a movement started by close people that I know very well. Here in Gurgaon, by citizens, they involved the police, they slowly kind of involved the local administration, they made it happen here, and it's now becoming a pan-India movement. Yeah, there are so many Rahagiri type of opportunities out there, and they can be done very, very quickly. Yeah, and the final point I want to make on citizen participation, it's a bit of a philosophical point, but I'll make it nonetheless, is that again, when we talk about sustainability, and we talk about sustainable cities and sustainable businesses, the foundation of that has to be sustainable individual lifestyles. Yeah. Because again, what is this city? What is the city? The city is all of us. How is it possible that if our own lifestyles are not sustainable, and then we say we want to have a sustainable city? It's simply not possible. And Mahatma Gandhi said it very, very nicely that there is enough in this world for everybody's needs, but not enough for everybody's greed. And I think that's a very important point to reflect on, because we are in this kind of treadmill of expectations treadmill, this dil mange more type of a thing, where we're just kind of running after more and more things, and we achieve it, but again the bar keeps on going higher. And I think somewhere that's a reflection. That's a reflection that in our own individual thought process, in our own lives, how do we kind of make that personal change? So I'll stop there. What I will say is that look, sometimes there are these kind of what I think utopian discussions about go back to the village and Ram Rajya and all of that nice stuff. My own view is that urbanization is a mega trend. Urbanization is a mega trend which will not be halted. Yeah, that is key to having better economic opportunities, better lives. Yeah. So many more of the world will be living in cities. We'll have more cities, and more people will be living in the existing cities. So the real challenge for us is that how do we make sustainable cities? And today we are growing cities at a very rapid pace. But those high growth cities, they are ticking time bombs. They will self-destruct themselves also at a very rapid pace. And I think it is really incumbent on all of us, that if you want to have sustainable lives, sustainable businesses, we have to take action ourselves to contribute in that process. Thank you.